The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is weird. If you're looking for an off-kilter, consistently bizarre entry in the Zelda franchise, you've come to the right place. Instead of creating a safe follow-up to the all-time classic Ocarina of Time, Nintendo opted to take some risks with Majora's Mask. It's a remarkable game, but what would it be like for someone who's never played it? My girlfriend Ellie is that person, and in this video, she's going to have 5 hours to make it as far as she can into Majora's Mask while we view the game through the eyes of a newcomer.
This released in 2000, 2 years after Ocarina of Time, a year of your birth.
Birth year. I'm as old as this game.
You are. This game was in the womb the same time that you were.
The game begins with a title screen that's strikingly different than the melancholy horseback shots of Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask instead takes us around the cozy confines of Clocktown, one of the game's key locations. As it proceeds though, the vibe changes.
What the hell is that? What? I don't like that. That really made me feel freaked out. That's scary.
Despite looking very similar to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask achieves a completely different tone. It's much creepier, much stranger. We'll dig more into that later. Our adventure opens with Link on horseback, riding through some woods, when he's approached by two very antagonistic fairies. Turns out they're pals with Skull Kid, wearing none other than Majora's Mask. Who is this guy? What does he want? Time will tell. He steals our ocarina and hops on Epona, but Link isn't having any of that.
Whoa, Link. Why is this horse so unloyal to Link?
Sadly, we can't hold on, so we get left in the dust.
Now, I remapped the control scheme here, so it's identical to Ocarina, but now if you accidentally hit the right analog stick, it's going to make you roll instead of making you use one of your items.
Oh, that's amazing! Thank you!
I don't know why I didn't do that the first time.
Majora's Mask introduces plenty of new ideas and mechanics, but the core controls function the same as Ocarina, which is great as Ellie is fresh off of that game. She still doesn't love how it functions, but at least she's already got her sea legs.
Link has really progressed in his acrobatics.
Yeah, he does backflips to jump now. Front and back. Oh my god! Oh my god! I really didn't think he was actually gonna fall. Jesus. They were on acid when they made this. This is already so weird in comparison. That moon face, that's like a bad acid trip. I was very surprised by the beginning of Majora's Mask. It felt very different. Felt kind of like I was on drugs. It all seemed like an acid trip, kind of, at the beginning. And it just felt very different, very not what I was expecting.
Link falls down in front of Skull Kid, who has an unfortunate plan in mind for us. Link is turned into a Deku scrub, which is not his best look. Skull Kid and Tail, the darker fairy, book it out of here, but the other one, Tattle, is left behind. She decides to stick with us for the time being, while Ellie got a feel for Deku Link. He functions similarly to human Link, but he can no longer use a sword or a shield. Instead, he can spin around, which is actually a solid offensive measure. Additionally, Deku Link can dive down into these flowers and launch out of them to cover ground in the air, so he comes with some perks.
Talk me through your inputs as you're
I'm just holding down A to go in here. You let go of A, and then you hold it again when you got the thing out to fly, but it's not working each time.
Who said anything about holding it to fly?
Tattle. That's what I did both times.
What happens when you don't do that?
Nothing. But I've been doing that every time. It was just luck that my press didn't get sensed.
Once she had the flight controls down, Ellie moved on to the next room, which contained a little more flower practice. She snagged some Deku nuts and eventually floated her way onto the next room. Inside this one was none other than the Happy Mask Salesman. We met him in Ocarina of Time, but it would appear he plays a much more important role in Majora's Mask. He asks us to retrieve a mask of his that was stolen, and in return, he'll help us revert back to our original form. The catch is, we've only got 3 days to do it.
So time's gonna be important? I don't like being timed.
That's right, we're on the clock. Unlike its predecessor, Majora's Mask features a 72-hour time limit. Of course, it's not that simple, but we'll dig more into this mechanic later. Link arrived in Clocktown, where Tattle advised us to reach the Great Fairy in the north region of the city as soon as possible. The process of reaching her would give us a chance to begin getting to know this new area. Clocktown is much bigger than the likes of Hyrule Market that we saw in Ocarina of Time. It contains multiple zones and ditches fixed camera angles, providing the player with much more freedom to immerse themselves. Ellie was seeing some cool sights, but seemed to be feeling a bit stressed by this new time limit imposed upon her.
I really don't like time constraints. I get very pressured and panicked by them. I still just don't like seeing a ticking time clock at the bottom of my screen or interrupting the game to tell me it's the next day. It just makes me have an overall feeling of limitation, like I can't explore and I can't do things or you're gonna run out of time. Yay! Yay! Because I'm running out of time. It's 10 a.m.
Ellie found the fountain, which is good, but we had a little problem. The Great Fairy has been split into many smaller fairies, one of which is missing somewhere in town. So began the search. Thankfully, the quest was pretty easy, so we brought the fairy back quickly and returned the Great Fairy to her proper form. She granted us a new ability to shoot bubbles out of our hole to attack enemies and solve puzzles. She also mentioned finding the observatory outside of town, which Ellie began to search for. The issue was that we weren't allowed to leave town.
Y'all are all weird as hell here. This is a weird place. This is an acid trip of a game. I am so confused. This does not feel like anything that happened before.
Ellie spoke to this Deku, who offered to give up his flower if we could find him a Moon's Tear. We'll just keep that in mind. Eventually, we spoke with Jim, this kid in North Clocktown, after blowing up this nearby balloon with our bubble. He was so impressed with our popping prowess that he offered to let us access his secret route out of town, but only if we could track down these 5 boys before the morning of the next day. So began another search.
How do you get him? Freak? This freak ass kid? How do I get him? Oh my god, there's so many of them. Where's the freak ass kid? He's too fast. This is crazy. These kids are on crack. They're on crack.
That was crafty.
Slowly but surely, Ellie tracked down the whole crew until we'd finally found them all. As promised, they provided us with the code that would grant us entry. Link provided it to this guy guarding the passageway and made his way on through. This led into a corridor that introduced us to our first bout of combat with our old friend the Skulltula. After that, we arrived in the observatory, where we met this astronomer who prompted us to take a look through the telescope. By doing so, Link witnessed Skull Kid on top of the clock tower and saw that the moon dropped something onto the ground outside. It turned out to be a moon tear. Didn't we hear something about that recently?
Yay. Who am I supposed to bring that to? Who was it? I'm trying to remember who. That Deku scrub. That's it.
Ellie traded the moon tear for a deed. Okay. She used her newfound flower to fly up to the clock tower entrance, but alas, we were a little too early. At this point, all we could do was take the piece of the heart and wait. With nothing to do but wait, Ellie ran around Clocktown a bit more, but she was so stressed about the time limit that she didn't want to drift too far from the tower. As the 3 days pass, the music in Clocktown grows increasingly unsettling, likely contributing to her tension. Eventually, the time had come.
Where am I? Oh my god, I have a timer?
Ellie ran up to the top of the clock tower, where we were reunited with Skull Kid, still holding our ocarina. Skull Kid beckoned the moon to fall, giving us just 5 minutes to save everyone. Ellie shot Skull Kid with her bubble, causing him to drop the ocarina. Once we picked it up, Link somehow remembered the Song of Time. With little else that could be done, Deku Link busted out some extravagant pipes and played the legendary song.
I don't need to do that, right?
What do you mean?
Why would I do that?
Because things aren't looking so good right now.
They're not?
No.
I can't fight him and then win?
I mean, you only got 4 minutes.
The pressure of time compelled Ellie to turn back the clock. As it turns out, playing the Song of Time returns Link back to the dawn of the first day, right after he emerges from speaking with the Happy Mask salesman. Speaking of which, maybe it's time to revisit him now that we have the ocarina back. He busts out his organ, was that there before? And teaches us the Song of Healing, which enables Link to return to his original form. We were now in possession of the Deku Mask, which enables Link to turn back into Deku form whenever he wants by putting the mask back on.
I think it's kind of cool being able to turn into this Deku version of myself because it reminds me of the Lego games I would play when I was younger. And like the Lego Star Wars, you'd put on the Stormtrooper mask and get led into areas you couldn't get into or disguise yourself like they do in the movies. And I like that mechanic being something that you can kind of transform your play and transform how you interact with an environment.
Now that we were back to normal, the salesman requested Majora's Mask and oh wait, we never got that back, did we? According to his story, it's quite the important item which Skull Kid managed to steal from him. So we may be back to our normal self, but we've still got a world to save. It's time to set off in search of Majora's Mask. Now that we could use our sword again, we were granted passage out of town and into Termina, the overworld of this game. It's not as expansive as Hyrule Field, but still offers plenty to discover and enables access to the game's 4 primary regions. Ellie poked around a bit and quickly found this sketch on a tree, leading to a flashback of Skull Kid befriending Tattle and Tail. It would appear that he was just a misunderstood prankster before taking Majora's Mask, but things have changed. This scene is really sad. It's hard not to feel badly for the guy, creepy as he may look.
Oh wait, I can become a Deku Scrub whenever. Forgot. Oh my god. Jesus, this game is weird.
Ellie turned back into a Deku and shot down the one and only Tingle. This man really needs no introduction. Just look at him. He sells maps to Link, but we couldn't afford one right now. Ellie moved on into the southern swamp. We are clearly not in Hyrule anymore. This area features a completely different vibe to anything from Link's last adventure and really fits the bizarre vibe of Majora's Mask. Ellie got some information about a boat tour, which didn't seem pressing, so she moved on further into the swamp.
I don't like any more woods with songs.
Ellie chased this friendly monkey around until she found this witch on the ground. She needs something that gives her energy, but we don't have that. Inside this weird shop, Link received a potion that seemed like it would come in handy, and it turned out that it did. After being revived, the witch offered us a free boat ride and a hearty thank you. On the way to the boat, we were approached by more monkeys, who begged us to rescue their brother from the Deku Palace. The boat ride brought us directly there. How convenient.
Hey, brothers. Hello to my... Ugh. I don't like that thing. Ruins every shot for me.
Ooh.
Ellie headed in and found the Deku King, who's naked and okay. The monkey prisoner was nearby, but at this point, we had no way of reaching him. Thankfully, we got a tip from yet another monkey, but we were going to need some magic beans. Ellie began exploring the confines of the palace, which forced us into stealth mode. She found a hole that led her directly to the trusty magic bean salesman. I've gotta say, Ellie has been progressing very smoothly thus far. She's paying close attention to instructions from characters and observing her surroundings astutely. Surely I'm not jinxing anything, right? Soon enough, Ellie circled around the palace and planted the seed.
It's gonna storm.
Is it?
Look at it.
Yeah, it does look dark.
We are in for a stormy hour.
It was time to infiltrate the palace now that we could float up on this plant. Ellie was now able to fly above the areas she was sneaking around earlier using these launch flowers. If she was going to progress, she'd need to shoot these Deku Scrubs blocking some of the flowers. We knew what to do, which is good, but now we had to actually do it. Similar to the first-person escapades in Ocarina of Time, aiming the bubbles isn't too intuitive. The controls are inverted and extremely sensitive, and the platform we're on is moving, and the Deku Scrub is shooting nuts at us.
He breaks them. Okay. I'm still not really sure what I'm gonna do. Ooh, that moon really spooks me out. I won't lie. Oh, shoot. I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm not gonna be able to do that.
So close. Well, it was our best attempt so far, which is the good news, but the bad news is that the Deku Scrub respawned. Ellie went back underground to get some more magic, and then locked in for another attempt.
I don't want to do this again. This shooting mechanism sucks. It didn't even hit him, but I'll take it.
Now hold on before you.
This is why the time-based element sucks. This sucks. Stop interrupting me. Just show me at the bottom of my screen and let me move on.
No, you're...
It restarted me.
Oh, wow, that is just terrible.
The time-based element of this damn game. This is the stupidest that's ever happened to me. This is the stupidest.
Oh, in your whole life?
Yes, ever in my whole life. That is so stupid.
That is really dumb.
What?
I'm stunned.
Well, what are you gonna do? Hey, we'd get this eventually, we just need to—
Get your shit together, Nintendo. That's ridiculous. The amount of things I can do in this game. The amount of mechanics that are possible. And we couldn't figure that out. Crazy. Ridiculous. Clearly we weren't working overnight on this one. We weren't working 18-hour days on this one.
Ellie got back to it and made it through much easier this time. Of course, the fun isn't over once completing this section, we've still got to get through the other side of the palace. At this point, pressure really begins coming into play. Flying through the air, fighting the enemies, landing on the flowers, Ellie's capable of doing all of this without issue, clearly, but having to do it all multiple times in a row without making a mistake makes everything feel more difficult.
I easily fall off of things and platforms, so I don't really like when I'm forced to be up high and falling down. And the thing that was the most annoying of all was that a title screen in the game ruined all of my progress and set me back.
Thankfully, she made it through the whole journey and into the monkey's cell. This poor guy wouldn't respond to a Deku, which makes sense, so Ellie smartly removed the mask and spoke to him as a human. Our new friend suggested playing a song to distract the guards, but our ocarina wouldn't get the job done, so it was time to bust our Deku pipes back out. Monkey taught us the Sonata of Awakening that, according to him, would enable us to access the Woodfall Temple. Now we needed to actually find Woodfall. Ellie wasn't sure how to get there, and given how close we were to running out of time, she was becoming increasingly stressed that she wouldn't be able to find it.
Turns out you're supposed to read signs.
Well, there you go.
Turns out you're supposed to be reading signs. Is this an owl I can speak to? Thank God, he always makes me feel peace. He always tells me where to go.
Well, look who it is. Kaepora taught us the Song of Soaring and informed us about some owl statues dotted around the world. Ellie thought she remembered seeing one of those, but no time to dwell on that right now. As the clock ticked, Ellie pushed onward and arrived in Woodfall, with the moon glaring down at us. She started exploring the space and fighting these new enemies, but ultimately made the call to jump back in time and reset the 72 hours.
I need them things explained to me, okay?
Okay.
Please answer my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Is the whole point just to go back, like I can pick when I go back whenever, based on what I want to do and how much time I want to do it?
Yeah, you always have the freedom to go back.
At this point, the time mechanic was beginning to soak in. It may seem like a frustrating reset initially, but Majora's Mask is built around it. As Ellie ran back to the swamp, she was frustrated by having to do everything over again. She had to retrace her steps, she had to go save Kumi again, she had to take the boat trip again. She found one of the owl statues during the process this time, so that's good, but still, how are we ever supposed to get anything done if we have to waste all this time repeating what we've already accomplished? As Ellie approached the Deku Palace, though, she made the realization that she still had the Sonata of Awakening. So now the whole process of sneaking around the palace was unnecessary, as the only thing we got from that was the song. This would save a ton of time and enabled Ellie to head directly back to Woodfall. With all of this added time, Ellie could really slow down and explore Woodfall properly. This area has gone full swamp. The entire region is full of the poisonous water, meaning that Deku Link is going to be the way to fly. Link quickly fell into the groove of killing some Deku Scrubs and using their flowers to fly around. Ellie found this spot here with a Deku drawn on it. It appeared to be some kind of place of worship, but Ellie wasn't sure what to do with it, so we moved on. She hit another owl statue and flew over to a treasure chest. Man, a blue rupee, that's it? Ellie maneuvered all the way over to another treasure chest, which rewarded her a little more appropriately this time. Eventually she flew into this opening, which she expected to lead into the dungeon, but it instead brought us to a Great Fairies fountain. Cool, but not what we're looking for. Ellie continued exploring for a while, but was feeling stumped.
I mean, I guess this said something about being like, I wonder if this is where they worshipped. So I should have done more over here. I'm just not sure what even.
Well, think about the fact that you could have gotten here before you did any of the Deku Palace stuff. So what changed from doing all of that?
I got a song.
Okay.
Ellie played the sonata and revealed our first dungeon. Quite the grand introduction. Now it was just a quick flower ride away and we could head inside. It was time for the Woodfall Temple. It's really interesting how long it takes Majora's Mask to introduce the first dungeon relative to Ocarina of Time. This was the 4th hour and we were only just now arriving.
Well, I like exploring the world, so I'm not inherently opposed to it taking a long time to get to a dungeon, but I think, especially with the rewind time aspect, not having a dungeon feels like no progress is being made.
This first room features a large open space that, you guessed it, contains a bunch of launch flowers. Ellie began flying around and attempted to find the scattered fairies to bring back to the fountain. Man, the music in here is awesome. I love the weird retro vocals. Really fits the game perfectly.
What do we think it is? A key!
Small key.
Unlike Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask introduces small keys right off the bat. In the next room, we found some of these turtles that we saw in the mysterious forest earlier. No matter what Ellie was doing though, whether in Deku or human form, she wasn't able to deal any damage. How might she be able to use this room to her advantage?
Then I shoot up? Well, I was trying to do that a second ago. I didn't even say it out loud, but I didn't know how to get it to come over me.
Link headbutted, I guess, the rest of these turtles and got the old trusty dungeon map as a reward. Ellie next used her key on this door, which led to a room with a wooden walkway and movable stone. Other than a Skulltula, the room didn't seem to contain much. There was an upper floor, but the way forward was blocked by this spider web.
Do I need knowledge from the last games to know that fire would take down a web?
I don't know.
I don't know how to get fire up here, so I guess it doesn't really matter either way.
Ellie had exactly the right idea, but she wasn't sure how to execute it. She lit a Deku stick and ran, but came just short of lighting the next torch. At this point, she was growing short enough on time that she figured it best to go ahead and reset back to day 1. Back in Clocktown, I suggested Ellie play the Song of Soaring just to see what would happen. Thanks to this song, Ellie could now fast travel to any owl statues that she's activated. Now, getting to the Woodfall Temple is as simple as playing the song and warping to the nearby owl. A big part of Majora's Mask is optimizing your run and finding ways to expedite. Everything that Ellie had to do to reach the dungeon could now be completely bypassed, which is immensely satisfying, at least in my opinion.
I think I became more accustomed to the time and the limit there, and knowing that there's a way to fast travel and mark certain points is really a game changer, so that relieved a bit of the stress for sure. I think just having a countdown at all at the bottom of the screen all the time feels stressful, even if the repercussions aren't as severe as I thought they would be going into it for the time-based stuff. I think it still stresses me out to know there's a countdown, even if I can rewind it and I don't have to go that far back. I just get a little discouraged by having to go back at all, and I think that pressure makes my performance suffer. Get off of me, bitches. The fuck are they doing? How do you put away?
There we go. Ellie unlocked a nearby room that held the compass, another staple. Back in the main room, Ellie lit the torch upstairs, but getting to the web would require some jumping. Could Link actually make jumps with a stick in his hand? Yes, he could, with some unnecessary acrobatics no less. Link arrived on the dungeon's 2nd floor, but was accosted by these enemies before she could figure out what to do. Ellie came back to this room and this time fought all of the enemies before examining the room more closely. With everyone gone, she discovered that there were 3 torches that needed to be lit in quick succession. She lit them all, which led us to our next room, another big space with some more launch flowers. They really liked this launching mechanic. These platforms are small and moving, making precision key.
Oh. That stinks.
On the 2nd go-round, Ellie killed the enemies first, which enabled her to take her time and proceed with caution. She made her way through onto the upper floor of an earlier room. Link pressed a button which created a shortcut for us down to the lower level.
So you want to make sure you target him.
Okay, right now I'm just trying to roll away. So I don't know what to do yet. I don't have a game plan. I need to be alone. Oh!
Remember, you have a shield.
I made it, but it doesn't protect me from fire.
It does not, but you made it.
Not particularly graceful, but he was dead. As a reward, Ellie received the hero's bow, an essential tool in any Zelda game. Back out in the main room, Ellie was able to shoot this eyeball now that she had some arrows, which lifted this launch flower from the first floor. There are really two phases to a Zelda dungeon: before you get the item and after you get the item. In the latter phase, you need to re-examine everything you've already seen through the lens of that item.
Another boss. I trust Link's sword more at first. But obviously this kind of seems like I would use the flower. Oh no. I was like, I know I did not kill him yet.
This fight is a perfect example. In order to kill this frog boss, you first have to throw him off of the turtle by launching with Deku Link, but at this point, the frog climbs up on a wall. Obviously, our sword isn't going to reach, but what could?
This is making me twitchy.
A few shots reverted this guy back to a normal frog and enabled us to acquire the boss key. Back in this room, Ellie was once again struck by this center platform.
We've got fire here. You mentioned fire being involved in that center piece, so let's view this through the lens of what you've acquired.
Or a
The
bow.
bow.
But it doesn't have fire on it.
Well, let's think about the elements here in relation to one another.
Can I shoot the fire?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect that to work.
This caused the platform to raise and begin spinning. A lot of raising platforms here. It was pretty clear what needed to be done here, the same basic concept as last time. The arrow needed to be shot through this fire to light this torch on the other side of the room, but man oh man, this was not going to be easy. Not only is Link spinning around, but he's also not aiming at the same spot consistently. Couple this with the janky aiming in these N64 Zeldas, and you've got a recipe for extreme frustration. After enough attempts, I decided to step in and help out with this one. Ellie knew what she needed to do, but the controls were just letting her down. The torch was lit, and we moved on to the next room. This was our last room before the boss, and basically functioned as the launch flower final exam. You've got to launch all over the place to various levels of the room as you slowly grow closer to the boss door. It was occasionally confusing, but Ellie figured it out without too much issue.
What do we think it is?
A big monkey. Oh wow. Masked jungle warrior.
Okay.
Odolwa.
Adola.
Alright, here we go. Odolwa, probably not pronouncing that correctly, is our first boss and presents more of a challenge than Ocarina's introductory boss fight, Goma. This fella has a number of different attacks, which include a short-range sword slash, quite a tongue twister, creating a circle of fire, and summoning smaller enemies to attack Link. At first, Ellie was just focused on surviving, but as she got her bearings, she began trying to attack.
Damn, I thought I could get him while he was twerking.
Okay, we got some damage in. At this point, Ellie now knew the cycle of the boss. She just needed to keep getting attacks in while keeping her hearts up. He really seems to enjoy dancing. He's pretty good.
Go to the grass. Go to the grass.
I don't want to do that again. I don't want to get here again. I'm at 9 o'clock on the last day.
Hey, we've all beat a couch or two in our day. She could do this. Back in the fight, Ellie honed her approach as the clock began to wind down, both in-game and in real life. It was the swarm attack that was really driving her crazy, but she discovered that throwing a bomb would get them off of her. She was doing really well, but man, she was getting really stressed.
Don't be scared.
I feel a lot of anxiety. Oh my god. Run, Link. Jesus.
Target him right now.
He won't target. I'm pressing that button.
Oh my god. Blew him up with a bomb.
these boss fights feel good? Why do they feel like I'm like on drugs? I was in a panic.
I know.
I'm coated. It's like I've been swimming.
I know.
Wow. Using the forbidden bomb method of her forefathers, Ellie emerged victorious and teleported to this strange space.
I think I was so overwhelmed by that boss that I wasn't even really thinking about the time I had left. I was just thinking about, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to the beginning of the dungeon and then rewind time. So I think I just felt really panicked by that boss. He was very chaotic, and it was the end note on a chaotic journey through this dungeon of trying to figure things out.
It was here that we learned another new song, Oath to Order. This is a really haunting scene. I love it. After this, Woodfall was freed of its poison, and Ellie once again played the Song of Time to return us to the dawn of the first day. Yet another cycle begins.
In theory, it's really cool. The choices they made were cool. The time element is a cool thing to have you do in a game. Switching between a Deku and to Link I really like. Like, there are mechanics of this game that I really like. I just find it to be mechanics that also frustrated me as a player. I think there was just like a slightly evil, scary energy in this game. It's very different and experimental, which I think is cool, and I enjoy the choices they made that were very different, but I feel like it was a very difficult game for me.
There's no doubt that the time-based nature of Majora's Mask provided a lot of stress for Ellie, but she was ultimately able to make a lot of progress. When you distill down the core experience, Majora's Mask retains the classic Zelda goodness, even if it is a little twisted. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out our Ocarina of Time episode? And if you really enjoyed this episode, you can become a patron or channel member to help us make more. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.